Yeah. Hi, friends. Happy Rake Appreciation. Woohoo!
Hello.
Oh my gosh. It feels
Hello.
like it's been forever.
It does, doesn't it? What happened?
I feel like it's because we had so many dang readathons.
That's true.
I don't know. I feel like it took a long time, but that's okay.
Hello, friends.
I
Hello.
also saw like so many people read it, so I'm expecting a good turnout. Tiernan, hello. Hi, friends.
It was a popular one. This author I feel like is on everybody's radar pretty much. Who reads historical anyway.
Right. Well, her stories are definitely unique. Hi, Stacy. We love you.
We do love Stacy. We love all of you. Hi, Meg.
We do love all of you.
Justin, hello. We're very happy to have you.
We are happy to have you.
We're happy to have everybody. I'm sorry, not to play favorites, everyone.
I know. Sorry, everyone. We do love you all. We just love some people who've been around for a year and a half with us. But we love all of you.
Yeah.
Yes, it was good. Well, she has very beautiful covers and very unique stories. That is the first thing I will say about this author.
Mm-hmm.
She still gets gorgeous covers. Yes, she does. And this author's like special to us too. Like she was one of our first buddy reads we ever did after like
she
Sea of
was.
Ruin.
I know. Yeah. That was before I realized how quickly you read.
Yeah. That's okay. It's always was funny to me from like when people want a buddy read and then they're like, so how many pages should we do a day? And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna read it and then we can talk about it, right? And people are like, oh, okay, you're not gonna do like 50 pages a day. I'm like, no, because if it's good, I'm gonna read the whole thing at once. I don't.
Linda, my darling, we would never boot you off, Linda. We're glad you made it with us. So I keep forgetting. I'm gonna read the comments.
Yes. We're gonna do that this time.
Yeah. Linda said, hi, everyone. Afraid I have to just lurk tonight. Had a killer month and just did not get to the book. Please don't boot me off. We would never. We adore you, Linda.
I mean,
we're so happy everyone is here.
Yeah, maybe you'll decide whether you want to read it or not.
Yeah.
Like, I like hearing spoilers about books. But, I mean, I know not everyone does. But
yeah. So. I'm conflicted because sometimes I don't, but then sometimes I do hear something and then that makes me want to read it,
Yeah, I think it's, you're correct. I think it depends on if I just hear a tidbit and then I'm like, oh no, that's enough. But obviously, like, I love book podcasts where they do the whole thing. Like, that's how I find so many books. But I've said, like, I forget plots very easily. Like, I have a great memory, better than some people think it should be. But when I'm hearing the details of a book, once I'm in the book, I forget what everyone else said. Like, I'll just, whoop, it goes out of my head and I can just enjoy the book. So that's a helpful thing.
It is no secret I have a terrible memory and I have literally zero control over it.
Yeah.
Hi, Tori. Tori says hi, stopping by to say I got through half the book today and I'm liking it so far. Wonderful.
Good. You're going to read it. Love it. Linda's going to read it.
Linda will definitely read it. Lexi, I spoiled myself for a lot of books. So. I did that recently and then that made me want to pick up the book. So I feel like maybe my opinion is changing a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, Melissa said, I feel like it depends on the book too. If I feel the spoilers will hinder my enjoyment, for sure. Yeah.
Correct.
Monica said, I know I'm being nitpicky about the cover, but the color of the dress was too bright for the rest of the cover. I
disagree. I don't know. I love that color. Yeah. So disagree, Monica. I disagree.
I do love the color of the dress. I especially like it with like the purple sky. Yeah. It's pretty.
I was gonna say something and it went out my brain. Nope.
Sorry.
Nope. I don't remember it. It's okay.
Yeah, she's very good.
I read one by her and I loved her. Sweet.
Sarah, I'm the same way. I like being forewarned. Forewarned is forearmed, in my opinion. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Stacy
Yep.
said, for me, spoilers help pick up books I know I'll enjoy. Tiff Talks pages. Hey, y'all.
Okay, I remember what I was going to say. I was going
Okay.
to say, for me, it's with the friends that I have who are all booktubers, obviously, they all don't want to give too much away. So I'll be listening to their messages and they're like, well, I don't want to tell you if you don't want to know. And I'm like, I always want to know. Why stop? They'll be like, oh, I don't want to spoil it for you. And I'm like, I know that everyone else feels that way. But if I don't want to hear about a book you're reading, I will stop listening to your message. They all do that to me, guys. They're all like, oh, I don't want to tell you. I'm like, yeah, you should tell me.
I used to have the worst habit when I wasn't reading romance for a while. I was just reading like all kinds of other fiction, fantasy, science fiction, and YA a lot. I used to have the worst habit of flipping to the end to make sure that none of the characters died.
100%.
I don't do that anymore.
But. Well, especially when we when we weren't reading romance, because you don't know what they're going to do to you.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're going to do to you, and that's why when you're reading romance, like, you can just enjoy that, unless the author decides they're going to make it all be a dream. And then I wish I could.
Yeah.
I'm still not over it. Not over it, y'all.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't be over anything. This
week's reading wrap up, get ready to be scorched by my rage because I'm so angry about a book.
I'm really looking forward to it, Jen.
Yeah.
I definitely am.
Yeah.
Hi, Susan. Welcome. We're glad that you're here posting. She said, been following both of you for a while, but only now posting. That's awesome.
All right. Okay, well, now they're talking to each other. Should we get started?
Okay.
I have a hard end tonight because I have to drive 2 hours away. So we got to be good tonight.
We got to stick to. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody put your star rating in the comments and we'll go through them. We'll start there, right? Is that good?
Yes. I also got The Bride Goes Rogue. I really want to read it, but I'm not.
I haven't.
You have an art for that, don't you?
Yeah.
And you need to read Kate Bateman too. You have to read Kate Bateman soon.
I still have to finish Juliet's book and The Crimson Crown that came out today too.
Yeah, I know, they're all out the same day. Wow, those ratings, they're all over the place.
All right, I'm going to start posting them. I'm sorry, I lost track.
Okay. 4,
3, 4.5, 4.5, 4. Lots of 4 stars. This is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of. Just wanted to participate.
Yeah.
5 stars. Loved it. I love that. 3 stars. 4 stars.
Everybody here cheated because I'm looking at my Goodreads and I see a bunch of you who went in and liked my review. I'm gonna have to start not posting my reviews until after we do these. No, just teasing, of course.
Justin, 4 stars, solid read, if not very memorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
3.5, 4 star. That's good. 3.5. Monica agrees with Justin.
Yeah.
Tiernan liked it the least of the series. Tiernan, you gave it 3 stars. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, shall I go first? Or do you want to go first? Okay.
You can go first.
I gave this book 4 stars as well. I liked this one a lot. I feel like this is probably my second favorite in the series.
Nice. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars as well. And literally, I will get into this. My review, I was like, this was so close to being perfect. And then it tanked in a couple spots for me. Tanked is harsh. I don't mean tanked. But because I was getting so excited about my feelings, it felt like it tanked it, even though it didn't tank it. I feel like a tank would be going down to a 2. But I was really enjoying it. I was loving a lot. And then there's a few too many pet peeves all stacked up on top of each other. And it's actually what led me to make my pet peeve video that I just put out. Because I was like, oh, and stop doing
I knew it.
And the thing is she did it in both of them. Because, guys, I read these books back to back in the readathon.
Yeah.
I never read the Viscount. I saw a lot of y'all did the same, too. People read them all. And, you know, those type of things wouldn't bother me if you're not reading them quite back to back. But I was like, you literally did the same thing twice. And it was even more painful the second time because I liked it even more. Anyway. Yeah. So, where do we want to start? Do we do characters or what?
Yeah, we can do characters, or we can just jump right into the romance. In my head, I've got this broken up into romance and plot, but
okay,
we can do characters. We can do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
No,
Heroine.
we can do it that way. Because I really like the characters, so my nitpicks for it don't actually come from that. So that's fair. Yeah, let's start with they go together. Let's start with their romance. Let's do that first.
Okay. Deal.
So, funnily enough, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Funnily enough, though, and I know that the sex part isn't what all the relationship is, but I want to make the comparison of that. This book, which is also a clandestine affair, supposed to be an affair, got a 1.5 on my spice scale because it was so drawn out for anything happening in that one. And my only critique of that being, because the historical romance, you can take your time. I am much more lenient in a historical than I am anywhere else. I am much more lenient for it. But the fact that like this series is clandestine affair. In the first one, literally that it's a one night stand, so we have it right away. In this one, the chemistry between, and again, I know we're not talking about this book, but I'm going to make the comparison in a second. That one was so drawn out that by the time they actually do it, I was over their chemistry. I was like, you've had chemistry for 80% of the book and nothing else. Then in this one, I thought that was very well paced. I really liked how their romance was paced out. You know, they both have trust issues going on. Obviously, this starts with her being married, or what we think is married. And I was getting very nervous because even when a person's a jackass, I don't believe in cheating. I just don't, and, you know, I don't like it. But I had to look it up. And this is why I wish more people would put spoilers and just mark their spoiler review, because I was like, I need to know how long this woman is married for, because I need to set my expectations. And so then I had someone tell me, or not tell me, I looked up and they're like, she was never married. I was like, okay, now I'm just waiting for her to find out. Because I was like, she was never married to this person. Then I don't care when they're doing it, because her non-husband is horrible and he tricked her. So I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly, Lexi. In the beginning, it confused me because she was married. Right. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I saw in one review that said no cheating. But then I was like, okay, but when is the like cheating going to happen if we're not, like, you know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought it was well paced for her being married and him being her servant, and the time that they spend together. Like, man, they got to spend loads of time together. I love that. Yeah, anyway.
I agree with you. Like, when I first read this and I saw that she was married and clearly she's going to have a relationship with the footman, I was like, oh no. But I was very glad that was resolved quickly and that I didn't have to like I feel like it was apparent right away that wasn't
right. You know. Yeah, we have a suspicion.
Yeah. I loved the setup that he was a footman and she, like, I love that. It's like one of my favorite historical tropes ever. So I liked that a whole lot. Yeah. That was good.
Well, you also have the clue that her husband doesn't care because he gives her a male footman. Mm-hmm. Like, he literally gives her a male footman who's going into her room alone all the time. And I was like, well, this dude obviously doesn't care. It's like he wants her to have an affair with this super hunky footman, so he has an excuse to, like, hold something over her, maybe. That was a vibe I was getting, too, because I'm like, what man would give her a male footman who looks like Alex does? Anyway, I was like, there's something off here.
Okay, so let's see. I'll go through some of the comments talking about that. Okay, the writing style is a little wooden for me. The writing of the sex scenes is awkward, in my opinion. Appreciated the multiculturalism.
Okay.
Yeah, I I don't know that I really have a critique for her writing style. I feel like the biggest compliment that I can give her writing style is that I don't notice it.
Yep.
So it's just very easily to just get immersed into the story. It doesn't draw attention to itself by being overly flowery, but it doesn't also draw attention to itself for being terrible. So in my opinion, it's just, this is one of my favorite types of writing styles, just so I can, it wasn't, there wasn't anything that was really pulling me out of the story. It was just easy to get immersed in it. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I listened to the audiobook and I love this narrator, so I didn't even notice that stuff. I was having a good time.
Okay, so Stacy said, it still felt off for me because they both thought she was married. Most of it felt physical to me. I wanted more of an emotion. Yeah, that's more of an emotional connection. I will say that's a fair comment. It definitely felt largely physical, I think, until it was revealed, you know, like that he wasn't the footman, but he wasn't actually a footman. So
let me see about that. I don't know, because I feel like they were talking a lot. I mean, yeah, they're both attracted to each other, but she isn't immediately wanting to like jump his bones. She's noticing that he's handsome and that he's horrible at his job. And, you know, she like, I don't know. I felt very endeared by him and how he was trying to get information from her. And at the same time, she's been really cold shouldered literally for how many years. So again, I wouldn't have been okay with it if she was like really married to this guy. But also, I'm not like, but also I understood why she was attracted. Like she wanted to be having sex. She had kind of liked sex with her attractive husband. Like her husband was attractive, and she felt very much like, you know, cut off from that. And so I think it was reasonable that she had the attraction. But I also felt like they talked a lot. Like, I don't know, for me. But
yeah,
I like this as much as me. So, or, I mean, Stacy didn't like this as much as me. So.
Okay, let's see. I love how he didn't know how to be a footman, and she was so understanding and was like, he has potential. I know, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The whole household was very interesting. It's very like Downton Abbey.
Yes, and I love that so much.
Yeah, and like, yeah, like there was the one footman in early Downton Abbey that he like had never been one before, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's see. So, this scene was well written. Didn't feel the tension.
All right, fair enough. Disagree. Literally have no problems with their physical aspects. It was all other stuff for me. The relationship I liked.
I did really like their relationship. I felt like it was I felt like their relationship was sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Was pretty much perfectly like paced. Like I loved the buildup of their relationship until like the fire happened, and then it seemed like the plot just took over, and that was all. But we can talk about the fire in a minute, or we can talk about it now.
Well, let's see. Was anyone else saying stuff about the relationship? Because I don't have a problem with that, so maybe we can go into.
Okay, let's see. I think there are probably a couple. The dynamic between them is great. The only part I didn't quite enjoy is the house fire. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's skipping to what I want to talk about. So that's what he's talking about. No, that's okay. I just want to see if there's any other stuff about the marriage, or I mean the relationship. If there's anything else.
There's a lot about the reveal. Let's see.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Okay. So
That's okay.
Tiernan said it was similar to a Lorraine Heath for me.
Yeah. I
I
completely agree with that statement of like you go into a scenario and you're like, how will I be okay with it by the end?
Okay, so I think most of the comments are about
Yeah.
The plot, reveal the plot. Okay, so should we move on to
All right.
that?
So we don't want to. Okay, we don't want to talk about it because I
Okay.
think everyone agrees with me. Like the main thing I had an issue with this and where it tanked was in two aspects of this for me. Number one, he is planning to tell her. Like he's not trying to hold it off anymore. He's found out the information he needs to find. He's going to marry this woman for, the reasons we are. He's proposed to her. We're all ready to go. And then there's a house fire that served no purpose other than to remove him from getting to tell her and then having Leela pop the balloon. Like that was so enraging to me. Like, I'm over dramatic. It was disappointing. It was disappointing to me because this wasn't the case of the hero being like, oh, I'm going to tell her tomorrow, or I'm going to tell her tomorrow. He literally came to the point where it's time to tell her and he was going to do it. He wasn't making excuses. He isn't doing that. Literally, it was the bodily harm to people he cares about that causes him to have to leave. And then for the heroine's reaction, which is kind of warranted because she's just been lied to by a man for how many years so that he could literally steal everything from her and like make her his dupe and like get him to whatever. But I feel like she went so far over into it and just held on to it for so long that, well, not so long. There was only so much of the book left, but just like literally there was bodily harm that was threatened. And I was just like, there was going to be enough of a blow up if he was the one who got to tell her. You know what I mean? Like, I hate when the reaction is going to be bad anyway, and then it's made worse because they don't get to be the one to tell them. Like, she was already going to have trust issues with him if he told her. But then Leela does it, and it just messes it up. Anyway, there's my rant about it. That's why I was hurt, because there was already enough conflict. There was going to be conflict. You didn't have to make it this extra. I wanted him to get to be truthful to her and not have Leela make it look like he was a liar. So
Yeah. No, I feel like something that I really like about her books is I think she does do a background plot pretty well, enough to keep it like interesting, especially if she doesn't have her romance, like them actually being together right away. I like how she does that. It does feel very reminiscent of a Lorraine Heath in that way.
yeah,
But yeah, and I feel like with each book in this series, she's like, the plot has kind of gone up and up and up. Like the first book, the plot was pretty minimal. It was just with those two, and then it was kind of in the background, but it wasn't a huge deal. In the second book, the plot, I feel like, overshadowed the romance a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this book, I felt like we had a good balance of each plot and romance until that point.
Yeah.
And then it was just sort of like all plot and I don't know. So I think that's a really hard thing to balance. And I will probably always pick up her books because they're just so fun to read, even if at the end I'm like, it wasn't quite a 5-star, but I still had a good time reading it,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wasn't necessarily upset. Like, I didn't honestly even, I guess it didn't really occur to me to be upset that someone else had revealed the secret until you said that was a pet peeve of yours. And I'm like, yeah, I could see how that would be annoying. I was more upset with how she like held a grudge with him for so long. And I was like, just forgive him,
Right. But, which I feel like, again, it's just amplified for me that like Leela, well, not even Leela, like the little girl or boy is a little girl. It's a little girl like ruins it. And so then it's like, well, she can't be mad at that little girl for telling her. So she has to be, and he has to be gone for so long because he is trying to make sure everyone's okay. So it's just because for me, again, it's like a repeating plot point. And because I had read this one where all that couple does is miscommunicate, like they hear stuff about the other person from other people for the entire book. So then in this one, I was like, wow, like he's going to tell her. And I was like, he's going to tell her. Yay. And then like there's a fire. And I was like, are you kidding me? There's a fire. And then I said, like, my second one was that when the doctor tells him that he's pregnant, that always bothers me. That always bothers me. When they're like, oh, you didn't know? Well, she's pregnant. And it's like, could you let the wife tell her husband that? I hate that in books. So it was just a 1-2 punch for me where I was like, he obviously isn't upset that the doctor's telling him that, but I was like, that would have been a beautiful reconciliation like moment if she had been like, we're gonna have a baby. Are you excited about it? You know?
It
Anyway.
would have been. I know, right? That's as soon as she mentioned not feeling well, I was like, oh, pregnant.
Yeah. But I was happy in this case with this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm usually happy about a baby, y'all. I
To
love
be honest,
surprise
I am
babies
too.
with married people or people who are already together. I'm always happy with surprise baby. I just am. I am. I love babies. Don't care. I love babies. And because her husband had denied her a baby, like
True.
literally,
Yes.
or her non-husband, which of course it's great that he didn't get her pregnant or whatever. But to me, that was like she deserved a baby that she wanted so bad, and it was with this man who's gonna be great. So, yeah.
So Rain City, yes, she is mad that he is hiding his identity, but then she is a hypocrite by concealing the pregnancy. Yeah, that was exactly my feelings too. I was like,
well, yeah, but she wasn't that far along.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's fair for like reading, like if that's your interpretation of it, sure. But I think for her, she was more just like, is this even real? Is this happening? And
True.
like, then then she's weak and has a moment, and so of course she's going to tell him now. But again, the doctor does it first. So then it's like, was she really concealing it, or was she just waiting for a second month? I don't know. So, but that's fair.
That's fair. Linda asks, do you suggest reading the first book before this one?
This series fits together pretty well, and you definitely get to see the hesitancy of the Arabs to marry into other families, because that is a big plot in this one, is that he wants to marry outside of his race because he wants to shove it in their faces. Whereas in previous books, it was like, no, I can't marry outside of my race. And like, I don't know. But
I mean, it does, like, the romance and the story like stands alone, but there's like Jen said, there's interconnecting elements that work better if it's read in a series. But I wanted to mention Stacy's comment. They could have talked in the bath before steamy time, or other times both of them had things to reveal, and then she hides her pregnancy, too much thrown in at the end. My biggest issues. Yeah, I do feel like too much was thrown in at the end plot wise. I would agree with that. But okay, let's see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everybody. Well, not everyone. A bunch of people want to talk about the not husband.
Okay, where? Let's
Tiff mentions it, and then Monica.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah. Here. How about her lying husband? He goes out for lunch every day at 3. I was shook. That was, yeah, that was definitely a reveal, wasn't it? I was a little shocked about that, honestly.
I was not expecting him to be married to that other woman.
That's the thing that I was shocking, yeah. And having like, kids with her, like.
Well, absolutely him like being like, oh, I don't want a baby or whatever. Like I was like, oh, he must have kids with his mistress. But I really thought it was more his mistress, not he was straight up legally married to someone else first.
Yeah.
And then we slowly reveal like all these people who've been kept away from her, and he's been isolating her and keeping her as his workhorse, and that he doesn't even own the shop. Like all these things just keep coming out. And you kind of are like, Monica said something about he wasn't intelligent even after making these intelligent decisions previously.
Yeah.
And my thought of it is that, how was I going to say this? My thought of it is that he like, she was dumb by not even questioning anything ever, is a part of it. Is like, she's having this awakening, where it's like, I have not advocated for myself at all. And not that she would have thought that she could have, but she very much let herself be swept away by him saying like, oh, I'll marry you and we'll do this together. And it took a very long time for her to be like unhappy about it. She just stayed in the room and did it, and it isn't until Alex is bringing all these questions forward that she's, questioning.
This part, Monica, this part, she says, and how her husband was trying to get Rose to keep the status quo. Also, how he's like, okay, my wife says I can get you pregnant to make you happy. I know. I was like, the audacity of that man. Like, what in the
Yeah,
world?
it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah said, that man is so dumb and selfish, showing his ignorance and expectation that she would continue the sham. Seriously. Like, that part was pretty, not shocking, but I was just like, wow. And he believed that she would do it. You know, he believed that he would have that type of control over her.
Right.
It's just, so when she got rid of him, I was like, oof, good for you, girl.
Well, and it was all paper thin too, because he didn't have the
Yeah.
legal way to do it. All he was holding over her now was her reputation, which is a powerful incentive, but it also was like literally that's what he was able to use. He was just able to use like, and if he had been a little nicer to her, he could have kept it
Yeah,
forever. Because
exactly.
she would never have like cheated on him if he had been nice to her, because she cared about him in the beginning, you know? So he got too cocky with it.
Tiff
Started
says to
trying.
have a whole
Nope.
family and he's supporting them with the money she is making them. Wow, seriously. Linda, I think you should read it, Linda. Married, not married, husband, non-husband, and you are all okay with it. Now I gotta read this.
Yeah.
It's a
You
bit of a
see.
ride. It was,
Yep.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. Rain City, my wife says I can get you pregnant with an illegitimate child. It's like so,
Right.
it's just so ridiculous.
He's so
Okay.
stupid.
Let's read Tiff's comment again. I found it to be so sad. It showcased how she lost her identity in her marriage and woke up to the realization that she wants to own her accomplishments. That's why I love that she met his sister. I completely agree. Like that part I feel like was so powerful. I would have loved to have seen that been expanded instead of like the crazy plot stuff like the fire and
Right.
like this is such a powerful thing when she realizes that and she's going to it was
Mm-hmm.
great. I loved it so
Mm-hmm.
much.
I personally think that one different track that this could have taken is that Alex crushes this guy. Like Alex crushes this guy and it makes it all good. And then I know I'm advocating for something really crazy here, but they like take a break and she's built her business like on her own. And then maybe she realizes she's pregnant, that they need to get married for the baby. And she's like, I'm only coming to you because of this. And he's like, oh, but I love you, blah, blah. But I think that could have been even more like if we were going to go this way where she's like, I need a break from you. And actually, I own all of this. I'm going to weather my reputation because Leela has given me the confidence. Like there are people who are going to buy my stuff. It's going to be okay. Like, her image is being in Leela's next book. Maybe that's enough that she's able to do it on her own. I don't know.
Yeah.
Of course, I want her to still be with Alex. I'm fine with how this went. I'm just saying that if we wanted to go with her giving him the cold shoulder, I wish they hadn't been married to have it happen. Because otherwise I'm like, girl, like, you want to be with him. And he's basically saved you. Like, he literally, yes, thanks, Justin. Like, literally, the reason she's able to do what she wants to do now is because of him. Because if she'd figured all this out without him, would she have been strong enough to, like, kick that guy out? So, anyway, that's my thing. I'm like, if we're having her be mad at Alex enough that she's like, there's not going to be any sex. Like, I wish they wouldn't have got married until like later. I don't know. Because then, yeah, but whatever. This was good. We can talk about like he really groveled. Like it's a good grovel. I just don't think he was so bad enough that he needed to grovel to that level. Is just how I am about it. Because I'm like, he didn't wrong her to such a degree. Like, I don't know. But
Stacy
thank
said
you.
she'd give that 5 stars.
Thank you.
Tiff said, let her rebuild and be in a position to choose him without it be predicated on the scandal.
Yeah. I love a marriage of convenience. You know it. You know that I do. But I just am like, yeah, again, like she married him. She's like, it's only going to be this. And I wish she had been like, no, I'm not going to marry you now. I'm just going to do this on my own. And then she can be like, I do want you in my life. Instead of giving him the cold bed. But anyway.
Monica says, I didn't feel like her husband, not husband, didn't get enough consequences on the page. Monica wants him to pay, and I don't blame
I
you.
wanted it too.
I agree. That man, what in the world? Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see maybe an example of the village kind of shunning him in a way, for what he did to her, because he was so sure. He's like, they're all gonna look at you as my whore because I've been having you all this. They think that, when it's like you're the one who tricked her. Yes, Monica.
Okay. Lexi said, I know he's going to be a farmer and he hates that, but like, that's not enough for me. Yeah. Tiffany wants him to be leveled at the neck.
Yep.
Yeah, he deserved it. What a despicable man, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, like why he should have had to go to like debtor's prison or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe he has to pay back Alex for the money that they cost him or whatever. I don't know. I'd feel bad for it. It's not his kid's fault. That's only thing.
Yeah.
Those parents are sucky, but I don't want kids to suffer. They're gonna suffer already. But yeah. So do we think this series is done now? Like, do we think this was just a trilogy? Were there any other siblings or extended people we think it'll be about?
I really don't know. I wonder, I think it would, I don't know that I haven't heard anything, and I don't even remember any side characters or siblings. I'm sure there are some I'm forgetting,
Sure.
But yeah,
well, she has or not her, the one from book 2, she has another brother.
Raffi?
Yes, there it is.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. Hannah. Hannah has a brother. Who was like, was it his cousin? Who was Rafi flirting with? Rafi was legit like sneaking away with people. Does anyone remember? During Hannah's book, Rafi was always sneaking away with people.
That's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Can't remember it. Yeah. And maybe she will. I mean, I don't think when this one came out, did we know about this one? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? We are such Mafia readers, my friend. We definitely are. I like vengeance for things. Maybe that's why I had just done the Mafia. I just done the Mafia readathon, and so then I was like, wow, these people don't get bloody enough for me.
No retaliation.
Yeah. Right?
Lexi wants to put him on a ship to somewhere. Maybe the ship makes it, maybe it doesn't.
Ooh, yeah. Get him transported or something. I'm here for it.
That'd work.
Yeah. Overall.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, Sarah said, I think Rose was always that strong character, but we met her at a very depressed and low point. So when she goes to his property to find the gate, made my heart so happy. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And like the fact that she was working on the map the whole time they were married, even though she was mad at him, it did show that like she was going to forgive him either way. It was just, she was being mad for a while. Oh yeah, people are speculating. Selena's her name. Is there a historical Mafia romance? There are some like it, Justin. Off the top of my head, I can't tell you, but the one I say that actually is a lot like the Mafia would be Sarah McLean's Rules for Scoundrels. That one is a lot like Mafia.
That's true.
I mean, literally there's a secret Mafia boss behind the scenes, and there's, like there's a gaming hell, and there's fighting. All of these elements exist in Mafia. So there's that. I will say as a whole, this series was very unique. I really did love the multiculturalism in here. I loved the elements that were very strong throughout it, which obviously this is own voices, and the note at the end says a lot of her inspiration for it. So I really like that. And yeah, I think this series, even though this wasn't a 5-star series for me, just because of those, like there are some authors who will just always use those kind of tropes as their plot devices. Like I have a
Yeah.
list of them where I go into their books and I expect it to be a great time, but I know that the way the characters fight with each other won't make me happy. Like I just know it. Like there's certain
Yeah.
authors, I read their book and I'm like, this is gonna be a great time. I'm gonna listen to the audiobook and it's gonna fly by, but they're not gonna gut me the way that Lisa Kleypas will. Because in Lisa Kleypas books, her heroes 90% of the time make that gut-wrenching choice that I want them to make. You know, they have that extra swoon level that I want them to. And other authors don't. It's okay.
That's
So,
true, Tiernan. That's very true. There is her Fifth Avenue series is organized crime. I forgot about that. And actually, the last one, the hero is like a mafia boss. Like he's,
yep,
yeah, that's true.
I had heard that. I just haven't read that series.
I just forgot all about it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to answer Stacey. The Victorian Rebels, I would say that Dorian he is, but I would say that like the first and the second one would fit into the mafia trope, but none of the rest of that series really fits in with it. But I would say that the Highlander and the Hunter definitely fit into mafia tropes for sure. Just I don't think the whole series does. I don't think so, but definitely the first two. But yeah. Was there anything else about this one, or should we? Yes.
I love that about this series. Loved the female characters having avocations careers. I love that, and they all feel very realistic. You know,
yeah,
like
very
they
well
feel like
researched.
yeah, like it could have been, and also the way that there are like roadblocks in their career, so they're not just out there with this career living their best life in this time, but like you know, there are some realistic things that they have to consider. Especially, I think in the second one, her career.
They have to prove themselves. They have to prove their skill, which I like. Okay. Do we want to announce some books?
Let's do it. We're going to announce some books for the next.
Are we going to do them all?
Yeah, do them all. For the rest of the year.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
So June is going to be on June 16th. And we've already mentioned this one in the chat, but we're going to be doing Love and War, which is 1940s.
I'm very excited about that one.
This one is going to be amazing. I've already read this one and bawled my eyes out. It's beautiful. It's also very short. I've been wanting Crystal to read this for almost 2 years now. I mean, back in January when we picked him, I was like, I'm putting this on the fucking list. So what happened?
I'm glad you did. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So then July, neither of us have it, but we're going to be doing the first book in the Bastion Club by Stephanie Lawrence, which is called The Lady Chosen. I have to order that one.
I ordered mine too.
You have the August one, or do you not have it with you? Did you bring
I didn't bring any of them out here. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I am happy to be an announcer. Then for August, we are going to do The Wolf and the Dove. We're finally doing it. I kind of refused to do A Flame in the Flower, but we're going to do The Wolf and the Dove. The audiobooks are out for these. That's why we kind of held off to do this one, because the audiobooks got put out and are being put out for the next little bit. So this is going to be fun. Then for September, I also don't have this one yet. We're going to do Surrender by Amanda Quick. Very excited. We will have a special guest for that, but we'll tell you about them later. Then for October, I'm so excited. We're going to do The Lotus Palace. I found this book for 50 cents last week, and then I was like, can we do this book? So this is by Jenn Lynn. Yeah, it is really beautiful. I'm very excited about it. Perfect condition. Then for November, our 2-year anniversary, we're going to do our favorite historical ever.
Yeah.
We're going to do Sea of Ruin. Yes, it's happening. All the hot messiness of this book.
I can't wait to talk about that book. I just can't wait. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good.
So excited. And then for December, we're going to wrap up the year with The Bride's Necklace by Cat Martin, whatever. Here we go. So
So beautiful.
yeah, all of these have audiobooks. The author is Shira Lynn, Cheryl, and we will have the art for this up, and we'll put the first 3 months, on our pages. But we just wanted to announce the rest of the year in case you need to order these or whatever. So yeah, Shira, I think it's Shiray or Shira. She did an interview with Charles. I'll have to look it up. But I got to read an arc of this book, and it was amazing. So
I'm very excited. I'm so excited for all of these. I think
me too.
We talked about this the rest of the year for quite a while, trying to decide what we wanted to do, and we kind of picked almost all of them that are older. But I think that's going to be except the Jeannie Lynn. I'm not sure when that was published, but
I think it was 2012, 11, 13, 2013.
But, so that one's fairly new, but we're very, very excited.
I don't know. We just we haven't loved the newer historicals unless there are like favorite authors. Yeah. And we just wanted some that, at least if we're not going to love them, we have a lot to talk about because they're, because they have history and they have a lot of stuff behind it,
I think that's something that I've noticed in the books that we've picked that are newer. It feels like there's less to talk about in our discussions, whereas we have books that are older and it's like we can't shut up about it. Our discussions are just really, really great. So
let's see. Monica, we're going to post them on our Instagrams and they will be in the Discord. We're not going to type them all in right now, but we'll be sharing them soon. Yes. But yeah, I think this is a good mix because it's like we have the indie, we have we have all these different time periods too. We haven't done a modern I think we did a golden age, didn't we? Or not a golden age, a gilded age. Or we didn't do a gilded age. We were going to do a gilded age.
Yeah.
We ditched it.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's right. Yeah. We made an executive decision and said, we don't want to do this. Yeah. But, we've done Westerns and we've done all this. So, yeah, we're really excited about these.
That's good.
So,
it'll be great.
Yeah. But anyway, this was fun.
It's been a great chat.
Yeah.
I did. I had a good time reading this. I really liked it. So it's a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Thanks for reading along with us. And we're very excited for the rest of the year. So we'll see y'all around the book places. And for sure, we'll see you next month for our In Love. Is it In Love and War or just Love and War?
It's just Love and War. Sorry.
And War.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful cover.
It's so gorgeous. Oh my God. You're going to... Victoire and Emile. And they're both this is an older love too. They're both in their they're not older love. They're both in their 30s. I'm sorry. I'm almost 30. I'm not saying I just mean they're not babies.
18. Yeah.
Yeah. They're adults.
That's good. That's
what I meant.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much, and we will see you later.